Yeah, so I think we are connected now.
Okay, so Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
1 minute, 1 minute.
No?
I think we have to change the setting, actually, make it public. Yeah, now we can start.
Okay. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Welcome, Prema Rāsa Prabhu, Swati Mataji, and anyone who's viewing. First of all, a very happy Kartik month to everyone watching this feed. It's a very auspicious month, and they say that like whatever devotional activities we perform in this during this month is multiplied thousandfold when it comes to getting returns. So we are very glad and happy that we are able to conduct this session, which is a continuation from previous sessions, which was about understanding the essence of the pastimes of the Lord, or understanding the Tattva of Lord Krishna's Lilas. And we have Prema Rāsa Prabhu again, who is going to conclude this series. So we are very happy to have Prema Rāsa Prabhu with us in spite of his busy schedule. Oh, and by the way, we need to mention that it is Prabhuji's birthday today. So a very happy Krishna conscious birthday to you, Prema Rāsa Prabhu. And with that, if you would like to start, the stage is all yours.
Okay. Thank you so much, Charitra Prabhu, and all the devotees for your kind invitation and participating in this series of lecture on the understanding the Tattva of Krishna's Lilas. So this is, I think, the third and the final part of the lecture series. And yeah, I guess that this is one of the most important topics in order to understand the pastime of Lord Krishna, which is very confusing. And also kindly forgive me because I've not applied tilak today and I'm not in kurta in my traditional devotional attire because I'm outside, I'm out of town, and somehow luckily I've got some internet connection, so I'm just trying to connect again, but I don't have the devotional attire on, so kindly forgive me for that. Okay, so what we can do is we can recap some of the points we discussed till now, and then we continue the concluding section of this lecture series. So in the last class, in the part 2 of the lecture series, what we discussed is about the Dham Tattva, how the Dham is all pervasive, and how all the Vaikunthas, they are present in one corner of Vrindavan or Vraj Dham. And what is the meaning of all pervasive? Just like Krishna is all pervasive, he is manifesting himself everywhere, each and every part of the universe, and there are millions of universes. So similarly, the Dham is also manifested in each and every corner, nook and corner of the universes. At the same time, it is also present in all the universes together. So the entire material world, actually the Dham is pervaded, because Krishna is not different from the Dham. So the Dham is also pervaded like the way Krishna is pervaded. But obviously it is more in impersonal sense, rather than having a very personal experience with the Dham or personal contact with the Dham. But we know one thing for sure, that this particular Dham, uh, particular location, the physical location of the pastime places of the Lord in this material world is very important, because the Lord is coming down to this material world and he is performing his pastimes, and that particular location becomes extremely important, because it is constantly, the Dham is a manifestation of the Lord's own potency. It is said that Balram is actually the one who is expanding himself in the form of Dham in order to serve Krishna, in order to serve all the residents of Vrindavan. That's why the Dham is non-different from the Lord, and as such, it is completely transcendental to the material realm. Although it is part of the material world, but still it is actually beyond the material world, like a lotus flower. And so the potency of the Dham is always there, eternally there. It is never, it never decreases, and it is eternally manifested. So even if there is no devotional activity present in the Dham, still the Dham will always manifest its full potency. Whereas if you go outside of the Dham, then to the degree to which we perform devotional service, to that degree the Dham is manifested. And as soon as the devotional service is slackened, to that degree the Dham also, the potency of that particular place also will slacken with time. But the specialty of Dham is that it will never slacken, it will never decrease, and the potency is always present. So we discussed some of the differences between Dham. There are the different types of Dham and what are the differences between them. And we discussed 5 types of Dham: Golok, Vrindavan, which is the spiritual world. And then we also discussed Bhomo Vrindavan, how the Dham in the material world, when the Lord is coming to the material world, so there is a place in the material realm, and that place is also non-different from the spiritual world. That is called as Bhomo Vrindavan Dham. And similarly, we have, whether it is Jagannath Puri or Mayapur, or it is Ayodhya, or it is like the pastime places of Lord Vishnu. These are all dhams, and the Lord is actually manifesting the same dham when he's coming to the material world. And then so we have Goloka Dham, we have the Bhomo Dham present in the Bhumandala in the material world. And then we have the Drishyaman Dham, which is also the subcategory of the Bhomo Vrindavan Dham or Bhomo Dham. Drishyaman is a Dham which we actually can perceive with our naked eyes, with our material eyes. To the degree we can see it with our naked eyes, to that degree it is actually called as Drishyaman Dham. And then obviously, because the Dham is also covered by its potency, and it is not visible to each and every devotee, that to the degree we are purified, to that degree the Dham is also going to be revealed to us. So the Dham is going to cover itself by the curtain of Yoga Maya, and that whatever is visible to us with our present eyes, that is called the Shaman Dham. And then and then we discuss the examples of such kind of the Shaman Dham, that when we visit Vrindavan, we are seeing that there is particular tree where Krishna actually jumped upon, and then he had some pastimes on the tree, and maybe he has left some footprints on the tree, or we can see Govardhan Hill. So Govardhan Hill is actually visible to us. At the same time, it is not fully manifested to us. It is covered. So so we can understand that we have Govardhan Hill, and we have couple of places or couple of things in the Dham which are visible to us, but they are not completely manifested because we are not pure. So this is called the Shaman Dham. And then we have Dham which is manifested in the heart of the devotees because of their potency and strength of bhajan. The Dham is actually manifested in the heart of the devotee and the Dham devotees. So wherever we go, when we perform devotional service, and or we can replicate the Dham in outsiders of the Dham. For example, we have the Govardhan village or the new Vrindavan, which is a replication of the original Dham. So these are the Dhams, 5 prominent categorization of the Dhams, and how the differences also be discussed amongst all these Dhams. And so basically, we also understand that the Dham will expand and contract itself depending on the Leela, how Yogmaya is going to arrange the sequence of pastimes. Depending on that, the Dham can also expand and contract. So a typical example of that is, when we talk about 84 crores Vraj now, what is visible to us, 84 crores is basically the circumference. That is what is actually, so it's not the area and neither it is the diameter, but it is actually the circumference. It's a parikrama path. Okay. So we can, either way, whether 84 crores is a diameter or it is the area or it is the circumference, we get 3 different areas. And so corresponding to that, we have, minimum area and we have maximum area. Okay. And so all these 3 areas are possible in the Dham because the Dham can actually expand and can contract. So this is the transcendental potency of the Dham. And then we also discussed going beyond the Dham Tattva. Then we came to the divisions within the Dham. And we know that Vraj Dham is actually, or you can say Golok Dham, is divided into 3 categories, which is depending on the category of the sweetness which is experienced in these places. And that is Dwarka, Mathura, and Vrindavan. So in Vrindavan, we have the maximum sweetness. There is only sweetness, Madhurya. And then as we go further away from Vrindavan, then we get a mixture of Aishwarya Bhav, which is awe and reverence along with sweetness. So, there is this Mathura Dham is basically Madhurya Mishrit Aishwarya Dham. And then Dwarka Dham is Aishwarya Mishrit Madhurya Dham, like that. So the prominent mood is Aishwarya in Dwarka. The prominent mood is Madhurya in Mathura, which is mixed with Aishwarya. And then Vrindavan, we only have Madhurya. So this is what we discussed. And then we also discussed that Krishna is also living in this, all these 3 places. He is eternally manifested. But these are different. The original Krishna is actually residing in Vrindavan, and then Krishna expands himself, and he is residing in that same Krishna is residing in Mathura and Dwarka. Okay, so he is actually, in one sense, he is eternally manifested. So when Krishna is moving from Vrindavan to Mathura and from Mathura to Dwarka, so we also discussed about Prakat and Aprakat Leela of the Lord, where when Krishna is externally is not visible to our eyes, so we say that Krishna is he becomes a Prakat, and so basically for it is again in the context with the conditioned devotees or conditioned souls, because this does not apply to the pure devotees, because for them Krishna always appears. So they can see Krishna even if Krishna is moving from Mathura to Dwarka or from Vrindavan to Mathura or to Dwarka. Krishna will manifest himself and he will appear to them. So Krishna is actually eternally residing in Vrindavan. Krishna never takes one step out of Vrindavan, and so to the materialize. That is the meaning of that. So, but for the pure devotees, they are always constantly connected with Krishna. They can always see Krishna in that particular dham. Okay, because Krishna is residing there eternally. He is residing in Vrindavan eternally. He is residing in Mathura eternally. He is residing in Dwarka eternally. For the associates of Dwarka and Mathura, the Lord of Dwarka and Mathura, they are always manifested. And for the associates of Vrindavan, the Vraj form of Krishna, Sham Sundar, is eternally manifested to them. Okay, this is just in the context of condition of Prakat and Prakat Leela. This will be discussed basically. And now we'll be discussing about, and yeah, so just like Krishna is expanding himself and then he manifests himself in different places, in different potencies. So similarly, the associates of Krishna also, they also expand themselves and assist the Lord wherever he goes, but they also manifest that much potency in different places. So in Vrindavan, in Vraj, there is the full manifestation of potency and opulence. Opulence in the sense of the Madhurya aspect of the Lord, the sweetness aspect of the Lord, and similarly the opulence of the Vrajvasis. Okay, so now today we'll be discussing about Krishna living in his, okay, let me just check whether my Facebook page is. Yeah, I think I'm not being able to connect to the Facebook page, but not able to share also. But anyways, let's go ahead.
But it says live
yeah,
on Facebook.
Okay, so now,
on the left side of the screen, it says recording live on Facebook.
Yeah, it's being live streamed on Facebook, but like generally I share on my Facebook page also. So I'm not able to connect to my Facebook profile page. So anyways, that's fine. I wanted to share it, but I will do it later on. Okay. So today we'll be discussing more about the expansions of Krishna and his associates. So who are the expansions of the associates of Krishna in Kurukshetra? And then when Krishna is having rasa dance with the gopis, and then we talk about the gopis being married to the gopas, who are not, they are not getting married to Krishna. So who are these gopas and who are these gopis? Is there any contact between them? And then we also will discuss about the appearance of Govardhan, Radhakund, some particular places of the Lord, which are eternal in nature. Okay, they are already manifested in Goloka. They are there in Goloka, but we talk about their appearance in the material world. At the same time, we also say that these are eternally present. Okay, so how do we reconcile these things? And then we also, I think we have also discussed about the demons in Goloka and the killing of Kans Maharaj, whether demons are present in Goloka or not. And then we also have discussed about whether Puridham is present in the spiritual world or not. All these principles we have discussed. Demons in Goloka we have discussed, and we also discussed about the apparent separation between Krishna and his associates in spiritual world. So is there a separation of Krishna and his associates? Because we say that in the spiritual world, Krishna does not move from one place to another place, right? He's like always eternally present. So is there separation between Krishna and associates in the spiritual world? And we have discussed that, right? If you remember, Krishna going from Vrindavan to Mathura and then coming back again, right? So we discussed all these things. So today we'll be focusing on the expansions of the gopis in Vrindavan and expansion in Kurukshetra, and the gopis, about their marriage with the gopas, and we will also discuss about the appearance of Radhakund, Govardhan, and such kind of pastime places. And also one more important point, the importance of Vrajbhumi, the comparative importance of Vrajbhumi, in relation with Krishna. So we know that Krishna is moving from one place to another place, and the Vrajvasis, they are dying out of separation from him. So then why not the Vrajvasis also move to Mathura and Dwarka? Is Vrindavan so much important to them that they are stuck in Vrindavan forever? Is Vrindavan more important to them than Krishna? So all these questions will be answered. Okay, so we'll start with the expansion of the Lord in Vrindavan. So basically, see what happens is, so when Krishna is moving to Dwarka, so obviously whenever Krishna goes somewhere, all his associates, they want to serve him, and they would also like to go with the Lord. At the same time, they would also like to reserve their mood with the Lord. They would not like to mix their mood with the Lord, the ras with the Lord. Okay, which means that if a devotee is in Madhurya ras with the Lord, then they would like to preserve, because it's a sthayi bhav of a devotee. Sthayi bhav means steady bhav. It does not change with time. It is fixed. So whenever Krishna wants to go somewhere, then the devotees also, they would like to serve the Lord, and that's why they would want to go there, but at the same time they don't want to go there. So what is the solution for this? The solution is the the best solution is that if they can expand themselves, and through that expansion they will also actually serve the Lord. Okay, now so we in we have heard the pastime of Lord Jagannath, Baldev Subhadra, the appearance of the pastimes of Lord Jagannath, Baldev Subhadra. And in one of the there are different versions of this appearance of Jagannath, Baldev Subhadra, but in one particular version we see that how it was Krishna was actually experiencing the separation from the Brajvasis and the gopis, and he's dying, he's eager to go back to Vrindavan, right? But then because of the love of the Dwarka Vasis and because of some restrictions, he's unable to go. So what happens is Krishna, when he's during the night time, he's always thinking about the gopis, he's always thinking about the Vrajvasis, and he's calling out their names. Even though he is right with Rukmini and Satyabhama in Dwarka, sleeping with them, but still he's always thinking of the gopis. And in order to mitigate his anxiety and distress, there is, if you remember, there is a pastime of how Uddhav is there in the pastime, Narad Muni also is involved, and then Subhadrama is also involved, and Balram is also there, and they all are trying to help Krishna to somehow go to Vrindavan. They are making the arrangement so that Krishna can actually go to Vrindavan. And so what happens is basically they one by one they start saying that, okay, now who will go? So Uddhav he says that, well, I already went there, but it was not possible for me to pacify them. So, I don't think I should go there again. And then Balramji also, he also says that, well, I also went there, but I still couldn't pacify them. So then finally what happens is, Krishna says that now I will go. And, somehow we know the Rath Yatra sequence. First Balram goes, and then followed by Balram is Subhadramai, and then at the end is Jagannath, right? So basically Balram starts for the journey, followed by Subhadramaya, and then finally Krishna joins. So as soon as Krishna reaches Vrindavan, they all take the forms of the form of Lord Jagannath, Baldev Subhadra, the way they look, because of their ecstasy in seeing the Vrajvasis in the mood of separation from them. They all, the body, the parts of their body becomes, it all, the size is compressed, and the bodily parts, they go inside and they expand, the expansion of the body. So the forms of Krishna, Balaram and Subhadra, they look like the deities of Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra, and this is their Mahabhav ecstasy forms. Okay, so this happens in Vrindavan. So basically now, the idea is that Radharani and the gopis or the Vrajvasis, they are feeling so much separation from Krishna, so they want to be with the Lord, but they, at the same time, they also would like to retain their identity. So there is a place in Vishwakarma creates a place right near Dwarka, very close to Dwarka, which is a replication of Vrindavan Dham, and that's why it is called as now Vrindavan. Okay, so it is also described, this pastime is also described in Sanatana Goswami's Brihad Bhagavatamrit. So basically what happens is, they, Vishwakarma is actually creating now Vrindavan Dham, and it is very similar to Vrindavan. And what happens in Radharani and the gopis, they, in Vrindavan, they somehow disappear from there, and somehow they manifest themselves in Vrindavan, so that they can actually serve Krishna some way. And Krishna is also encouraging to see the gopis, to meet the gopis, to meet the Vrajvasis. And that's why Krishna is, it's very easier for Krishna to actually go from Dwarka to Vrindavan, because it is very close. But because of the proximity to Dwarka, the overall mood of Vrindavan is not completely Madhurya. It is tinged with some form of awe and reverence. It's not completely Madhurya. So basically, the gopis, they all expand themselves in this Vrindavan forest. Okay. And they try to serve Krishna there. But still, even Radharani is expanding herself, and she is present in Vrindavan. But in spite of her best, she's trying to serve Krishna, but she's not satisfied, because she feels there is some lack of mood and atmosphere. That the sanctity of Vrindavan is definitely much more greater than what I'm experiencing here. And similar feelings are also felt when they are in Kurukshetra. So if you remember, Krishna, Kauravas, Yadavas, everyone, they are, and the Vrajvasis, they all meet together in Kurukshetra. And Radharani and the gopis also, they meet the Lord there. Right? Now, we have to understand one thing, that just as Krishna does not leave Vrindavan, even one step out of Vrindavan, so similarly, the associates of Krishna also do not leave Vrindavan. So now, if they do not leave Vrindavan, then who are these Vrajvasis? So these Vrajvasis are actually the expansions of the original forms of the Lord, of the associate of the Lord. Just like Krishna is expanding himself as Vasudeva Krishna, similarly, the associates of the Lord, they also expand themselves in these places. That's why it is actually, Radharani claims to say that she is the same Radha. So what is the meaning of that? She is the same Radha, that she is actually the expansion of the original Radha. So she is manifesting herself in Kurukshetra along with the gopis. And because there is this kingly atmosphere in Kurukshetra, the environment is of a Kshatriya, like very kingly atmosphere. That's why they are not feeling comfortable in that atmosphere. And then we hear about the famous, very popular verse that Srimati Radharani is speaking, that you are the same Krishna and the same Radha, but somehow I still have a desire to actually go near the banks of the Vetsi tree and near the banks of Yamuna, and perform our pastimes there. So she does not want to be with the Lord in Kurukshetra. She wants to go back to Vrindavan. Okay, so similarly, the same mood is also present in Vrindavan. They try to replicate Vrindavan there, but still there is some lacking is there. And so see, what happens is, from this Vrindavan, the gopis actually, they go to Dwarka, and that's how they become the queens. These gopis, so we say that the Ashta Sakhis, they are the Ashta Mahishis of Dwarka. Okay, because the original queens in Dwarka, the Dwarka Mahishis, they are all expansions of the original associates of Krishna in Vrindavan. So Radharani is expansion, her expansion in Dwarka is Satyabhama. And then we have Lalita Vishaka also expanding in the form of maybe Jambavati and
your voice is cutting.
But Satyabhama is then of Chandravali, and yeah, I think some problem will be there.
It is okay now.
Yeah. So, anyways, basically, Kalindi, or she's the expansion of Yamuna, and then we have Jambavati. I think she's the expansion of Lalita or Vishaka, and we have Rukmini, and then we have I forgot the names of other queens, but these are all expansions of the gopis in Vrindavan. So basically, they are disappearing from Vrindavan. They appear in Nav Vrindavan, and from there they go to Dwarka. They all manifest themselves in Dwarka. Whereas in Vrindavan, what is happening? Vrindavan, actually, they are all kidnapped by different demons. So, and then we understand that it was Radharani and Vishaka. I think Radharani committed suicide, and then Vishaka also followed her, and Lalita happened to be, yeah, Lalita was, I think she was taken by Jambavan, because she was trying to commit suicide from Govardhan. She was trying to fall off from Govardhan, but somehow Jambavan comes and he carries Lalita, and then he takes her to his residence. And then, if you remember, Krishna had a fighting with Jamban. Okay. And Krishna defeats Jambavan, and then he actually takes Jambavati. So that Jambavati actually comes, she's actually, I think, Lalita probably. I don't remember. I mean, in our Radhashtami class, I think we have discussed all these things. But what happens is the gopis disappear from Vrindavan. It appears to be like that. So basically, they become aprakat. Okay. And then finally they manifest in Vrindavan, and they finally manifest in Dwarka. So that they can actually assist Krishna in his pastimes in Dwarka. And then obviously when Krishna returns back to Vrindavan, and suddenly somehow the gopis are, they appear. All these gopis, they appear. So obviously the Prakat form becomes Prakat. Right? So these are all the technical details of the pastimes of the Lord. And it is very complex also. It is not so easy to understand. A lot of dynamics are there. But these expansions of the gopis in Nav Vrindavan, these are all like, temporary expansions. Whereas the expansions of gopis in the form of queens, these are eternal expansions. Okay, so there are different expansions of Krishna and their associates. And depending on the need, they will manifest those expansions. Now, there are also expansions by Yogmaya. Like, for example, when we talk about the gopis getting married to the Gopas. Okay. And when there was the Ras Leela pastime also, the gopis, when Krishna left the gopis, they all assembled together, and they started talking about Krishna, and they also started imitating Krishna's pastimes. And in order to imitate the pastimes of Krishna, they had to enact the role of some demons. Like, they were imitating how Krishna was killing Putna, how Krishna was killing Agasur, Bakasur, and all these demons. And so some gopis, they had to enact the role of the demons, but it was contrary to their mood. That's why Yogmaya, she manifested duplicates, some duplicates of the gopis who were actually playing the part of the demons. As soon as the particular pastime was over, Yogmaya again made all these forms disappear. So it was a temporary form, which was manifested for a particular purpose, and then again it got disappeared. Whereas in the case of these gopis who got married to the Gopas, who are all different from Krishna, so basically Yogmaya, she replicated these gopis, and these gopis were the ones who had some contact with their husband, whereas the original form of the gopis, they had no contact with their husband at all. And the beginning point of these expansions was from the day they got married until Krishna finally returned to Vrindavan, and then he married all these gopis. So this expansion of the gopis, they were for a longer period of time. But again, it was all the expansion of Yogmaya. So they were all disappeared. They all disappeared after the purpose was over. Okay. Whereas there are expansions of the associates of the Lord, like Radharani and gopis, who are manifesting themselves eternally. So these expansions are different from the expansions of the Yogmaya. The Yogmaya expansions are different, like that. So now we can understand that actually, although we say that Krishna was having illicit connection with women, But we now understand that this illicit connection was not even with I mean, they were Krishna's own expansions, all these gopis, and Yogmaya had created replicates of these gopis so that they were in contact with their husband. Actually, these gopis, the original gopis, they never got married to the gopas. When Krishna came back to Vrindavan, that time these original gopis got married to Krishna. So in one sense, everyone was Krishna's wife. Like there is no question of illicit here connection, paramour connection. But there are, in order for the pastime to have some kind of dynamics, fun, entertainment, all these things, it is very important to have paramour relationship, and it will also intensify the love for the Lord and for his associates, like that. So these are the principles of the pastimes of Krishna, and very important to know and understand. Okay, so now, I have got a question from Aritra. Curious to know if the cows in Vrindavan also expand into other identities in other dhams. I mean, this is something which is not, I don't know if our acharyas, they have explicitly mentioned about it. Basically, see, I will tell you one thing, that even these cows, trees, plants, and different animals, they are also actually sages. They are sages and they desire to become cows and animals or trees and bushes in Vrindavan because of their bhav, because of the type of reciprocation they want from the Lord. So those who are more oriented towards Shantaras, mixed with sweetness, they take birth in Krishna's pastimes, and they become trees, plants, bushes, like that. Because they just want that kind of relationship. They're restricted to that. They don't want a lot of active relationship with the Lord. So these are like sages who are becoming, and obviously we also have the Surbi cow and the Kamdhenu, who are actually the eternal associates of the Lord. But there are sadhakas who also aspire to become or to take Shantaras in Goloka, in the spiritual world. And now whether the cows also expand. One principle is that in Vrindavan, everything is original. Everything is present in their original form. So it may be possible that everything is an expansion of the original form, whether it is the dham or the dham residence. They are all expanded forms in their expanded form in Dwarka, Mathura. It may be possible. This is my philosophical speculation. Although I have not, I don't remember if any acharyas talks about this explicitly. Yeah, okay. Any other question you have?
No.
Okay, so there's another question by Swati Mataji. So is it that the expansion of gopis got married to gopas? Yeah, so basically, see, that this is what I'm saying. Actually, the expansions of the gopis, they are different from the expansions of Yogmaya. Okay, so here, when we are talking about the gopis getting married to Krishna, these were the expansions of Yogmaya. It was not the expansion of the associates of Krishna. So Radharani and the gopis, they have their own expansions, and Yogmaya has her own expansion. So these were all the gopis got married to the gopas. They were all expansions of Yogmaya. And as long as the marriage pastime was going on, they were present. But as soon as Krishna returned to Vrindavan and then he got married to all these gopis, so all these other gopis who were married to the gopas, they all disappeared. Because in the pastime, Yogmaya, with the help of Purnamasi and all the Vrajvasis, so they have a meeting and they are discussing all these things. And then Yogmaya is revealing to them what truly happened. So basically, Yogmaya is trying to prove, she's making every Vrajvasi understand that Krishna is the whole and sole husband of each and every gopi. And there is no connection of Krishna with the gopis in an illicit way. So that's why everything is orchestrated, and then Yogmaya is actually demonstrating. And then she makes all the gopis disappear in order to prove her point. So everyone is convinced that these gopis, they never actually had any connection with their husband, and they only have connection with Krishna. Okay, so these are temporary expansions of Yog Maya, and they appear and disappear according to the pastimes. Whereas the expansions of Radharani and the gopis, they are like more like the the expansion in Kurukshetra, the expansion in Vrindavan, and the expansions in the form of queens in Dwarka. So like that. Yeah. So is that clear? Okay. Any other question? Okay. So now we will be discussing about the appearance of the pastime places of the Lord. For example, Govardhan, Radhakund, Vamshivat, Nidhivan. So we say that these are all eternal places of the Lord. I mean, they are eternally present in the Dham. But at the same time, we say that there is a story behind the manifestation of all these places. So how do we reconcile? So any idea, any devotees, they have any idea about this? Have you heard anything about this topic?
What is it again?
Yeah, I mean the appearance of Govardhan, appearance of Radhakund, appearance of different places in the Dham. But at the same time, we are saying that these are all eternally present. So how do we reconcile? Any?
Eternally present. So I know when we were in Barsana, we heard that. We heard the story from Vishwara Prabhu about Pulaste Muni. I have forgotten the details of the story now, but that he wanted to bring Giriraj to the earth, like to Prithvi, and then again, I have details I'm forgetting, but so he did that, and in between he had to stop somewhere to take a break, bathroom break, and then that's where like he put the Govardhan again. I'm like, I think there was some condition that he couldn't put him down. So if you put him down, he would just stay there. And the whole plan was orchestrated in a way that he would put it down in like area where close to Vrindavan.
Yeah.
And then rather again, like I'm putting pieces together. So Radharani wanted to be she wanted to be close to where Govardhan is because she considered Govardhan as the highest devotee. So Radha Kund was there. Oh, you'll have to tell the story because I can't remember the entire thing.
Yeah, I mean
another thing
that's one version. About the appearance of Govardhan. The another version is about how Hanuman is also carrying Govardhan, and then somehow he's shot by the arrow of I think Bharat Maharaj and Bharat Maharaj, who is the brother of Lord Ram, and somehow because of that there was some conversation between Govardhan and Hanuman, and he had to somehow drop Govardhan in Vrindavan. So I don't remember the entire version of it, but there are a couple of versions of the appearance of Govardhan, basically, or the manifestation of Govardhan in Vrindavan. At the same time, we know that Govardhan, Vrindavan, Yamuna, these are eternally present in Goloka. As if you remember, the conditions put forward by Srimati Radharani was unless and until you manifest Govardhan, Vrindavan and Yamuna, I will not appear in home of Vrindavan. So these are the conditions that were actually put forward by Radharani, and Krishna had to fulfill all these conditions, and he did that. So basically, there is no point of calling Vrindavan without the manifestation of Govardhan, Vrindavan, and Yamuna. Vrindavan is not the same without these three things, right? So obviously, it means that even if you consider Bhoma Vrindavan, Govardhan, Yamuna, and Vrindavan, these are eternal parts of Vrindavan. Cannot separate them. So how do we reconcile?
Can I say Prabhuji?
Hare Krishna, Alisha Mataji, how are you? Long time.
I I'm over.
Your voice
Yeah,
is
I'm so
breaking.
sorry. I was busy. Oh God, same old story. Is it okay now?
Yeah, bit better, but yeah, I got to know that you got a second daughter, right? No?
Boy,
Not able to hear.
a baby boy this time.
Boy, not girl.
Wait, I just, I just changed my settings. Wait 1 second.
No, not able to
Is
hear
it okay
clearly.
now?
Can you speak a bit louder?
I'm trying to be as loud as possible.
It's not about loudness. It's about the network.
Yeah, it's breaking. I think it's breaking a lot.
Yeah.
But what you can do is, if you maybe you can just type in the chat box.
Yeah, I've kept my video off as well, hoping that I'm audible. And I'm getting poor at typing out answers. I think from what you asked, it means that now although many places are eternally existing, but they are manifest and unmanifest during a certain period.
Yeah, actually, we are able to hear your voice, but actually not able to completely understand it. There is a lot of breaking of voice.
Okay, so I think what I'll do is I'll leave the meeting and join again.
Yeah, sure. Like whatever is comfortable to you.
Let me do it immediately. I'll quickly just log off and log in. Maybe that should help.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, so any guess, Swati Madari, Aritra, he knew the appearance of Govardhan, one version of his appearance, but any guess, how do we reconcile?
No. So reconcile. So we are talking about the stories that we heard. Those were explaining. Those were describing how, like historically, how Govardhan Giriraj came to be established on Earth. Okay, Mataji is back. Let us say.
Yeah. Okay.
It is still the same. I think Mataji, we are not able to hear.
Oh God, see, I live in London. I feel like I live in some remote part of India, considering the network issues I have.
Yeah, not clear.
No, it's not. It's not clear.
So I just type out what I want to say.
Okay. So yeah, Alicia Madari's voice is not so clear. Maybe she wants to contribute something, but unable to hear.
The discussion, I'll write it out, whatever I want to say.
Sure. Yeah, you can type it out and you can share in the chat box. Okay. Yeah, so basically, I mean, these things are definitely understood, with time, because once we start reading Prabhupada books, once we start reading or hearing classes from senior devotees, then in the beginning it is quite difficult to understand how to reconcile these things. But later on, I think we get some kind of idea how it is, how it can be possible, and it is also like acceptable to us. It is also logical to us, based on the nature of Krishna's pastime, which are inconceivable, Achintya Veda Bhed. And considering that, or assuming that Krishna's pastimes are possible, like they are inconceivable simultaneously, one and different, and they are inconceivable, we can accept certain things. For example, in the spiritual world also, there is the manifestation of Govardhan hill. So even what to speak of the material world, but there is a appearance of Govardhan in the spiritual world, where Govardhan is appearing from, or I think it was the Ras Mandap which appeared from the left side of Krishna, and yeah, I mean something like that. And then a stone, a small rock appeared, and then the rock started expanding, and it got bigger and bigger, and finally it became the Govardhan hill. And then Radharani was very happy to see that. And in a similar manner also, the Ras Mandap was manifested. So in spiritual world also, these things are manifested, but we say that in spiritual world there is no time, it's eternal. So so let's talk about the example of Govardhan. So we have different versions how Govardhan appeared in the material world, and there are two possible explanations of it. So one is that Govardhan hill is eternally present in Vrindavan, and when the particular pastime happened, so that particular Govardhan, which is in Vrindavan, which is eternal part of Vraj Bhumi, that Govardhan became a Prakat. And this particular Govardhan, which was carried by Pulatsa Muni and was brought to Vrindavan, that Govardhan actually merged in the original Govardhan, and then again Govardhan became Prakat. Okay, so this is one possible explanation. And second possible explanation is that in Krishna's pastimes, it is, Krishna arranges the situation in such a way through the agency of Yogamaya that he makes all the Vrajvasis forget what happened. Like if you remember, I was sharing the example of how demons are killed in the spiritual world, right? And how Krishna goes to Mathura, kills Kans, and then he returns back to Vrindavan. And the Vrajvasis, the next day, again Krishna does the same activity. Now, obviously, is it possible? Because Krishna has already killed Kans. So how is it possible that he can do it regularly? But he can do it regularly because he makes them forget that these things happened. Okay. So it's a continuous pastime in the spiritual world. And so similarly, in the material world also, there are certain pastimes that are continuous. So basically, Krishna can make things prakat and aprakat, and he can also make the Vrajvasis forget about things. What is existing, what is not existing. So in the same way, Govardhan, whether it is Govardhan or whether it is Radhakund, although they are eternally part of the original Vraj Bhumi, but when there is a appearance of the, apparent appearance of that particular place, it just means that that particular place becomes temporarily aprakat, and then when the appearance of that place happens by some pastime, then after that it again becomes prakat. So there is a description of Krishna's pastimes in Radhakund before the appearance of Radhakund, before the killing of Aristasur. So now how do you know, because Radhakund is not appeared, it's not in its prakat form. I mean, if you say that Radhakund appeared after the killing of Aristasur, then how can Krishna perform his pastimes in Radhakund before the appearance of Aristasur, before the killing of Aristasur, right? So basically, till the time of Aristasur, Krishna is performing pastimes at Radhakund. When Aristasur appears, when the killing of Aristasur happens, by his Yogamaya potency, Krishna makes the Vrajvasi forget that Radhakund was there. Okay, and so somehow they all believe that Radhakund manifested because of killing of Aristasur. Okay, so this is how actually Krishna will arrange. Okay, and the second thing, the second way is that the appearance of Radhakund is basically in the form of prakat and aprakat form. So sometimes it will be in the prakat form, which will be seen by the conditioned souls, and again it will be unmanifested. Okay, and then there is apparently appearance of that particular place because of some pastime. So these are the technical possibilities of how Krishna is actually conducting the pastimes in Vrindavan. And these are all transcendental activities, and there is no limit of space and time. So we cannot digest these things unless and until we accept the fact that these are inconceivable things simultaneously present. Okay, Krishna can do multiple things at one time because there is no time actually. So all these things are possible. Okay, now Alisha Mataji, you have a comment, you want to write something? we are not able to hear you. You are muted. And okay, what about other devotees? They have any comments or questions?
Not from me.
Okay, so is this understood properly now? Is this clear?
No, I guess one question that could come to mind is, and yeah, it's, see, when we say inconceivable, really it's difficult to understand it. It's just that we have to accept that it's inconceivable. What could be like, what could be one or two reasons why Krishna would do something? Why would he make the Brajvasis forget every day?
Yeah, I mean that's for in order to add a lot of dynamics into the pastimes. I mean, see, basically, the more you forget, the more the pastime becomes fresh, right? This is the whole purpose of conducting the pastime. Uh, you'll always be. I mean, when you don't know something, like even Krishna actually forgets many things because of his own Yogmaya potency. He wants to forget things so that there will be a lot of excitement in the pastime. There are a lot of dynamics in the pastime. It does not become static. I mean, there is something which is fresh in the pastime, and it becomes more and more exciting. Because your eagerness is there. Like, okay, now what is going to happen? How it is going to go ahead? So there is a lot of human emotions which are evolving when you have. I mean, if you know everything, then what is the big thing? Like there is no fun in the pastime. If Krishna, I mean, obviously Krishna knows everything in the context of his opulences, but he hides all these opulences through the agency of Yogmaya. He does not want to know these things. Whenever he wants to know, he will reveal through Yogmaya. But whenever he wants to cover himself, he will cover, and he will forget. So there are many pastimes where Krishna does not know certain things. He forgot certain things, and there are pastimes where Krishna is actually revealing his full opulences. Right. So these are all the pastimes which are creating a lot of excitement, a lot of fun. Okay, if you know everything, then what is the great deal in that? I mean, it is like, you make everyone a robot. What is the fun in that? Robot will just keep on doing what you are ordered, what you order the robot to do, right? But if you give a lot of independence, if you don't know things, how they are going to go ahead, then there'll be a lot of fun in that. It's an adventure, basically. You don't know what is going to happen in the adventure.
Okay.
So does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, see, this is the nature of the Lord, and this nature can be confused with the conditioning of the human being. That's why many people, especially the Mayavadis and the Advaitavadis, they think that Krishna's form is also a material form, a human form, because he does certain pastimes which are very bewildering to the conditioned souls. They cannot digest that, they cannot understand unless and until you actually can explain the Siddhant of Krishna's pastimes to these people. And obviously, in order to explain those Siddhant, you have to also back up using Shastra. So you have to give example from scriptures. You have to give statements. You have to prove Krishna's transcendental nature from the scriptures. And so there are many statements in the Upanishads, and in the obviously the Bhagavatam is the ultimate authority. But even in Puranas and Upanishads, we have many statements how the Swarup of the Lord is transcendental. It is not material. And when you talk about transcendental aspects, then you cannot restrict and limit through time and space. You cannot restrict through your intelligence. Intelligence is a product of material matter, right? It is not something which is spiritual in nature. So spiritual matter is beyond the jurisdiction of material modes of nature. So that way we can establish the fact that the Supreme Lord is actually personal. He has a form and he does activities like a human being, but his activities are also transcendental, right? So and many of these things are mentioned in the Puranas. So even see now whatever I'm speaking or sharing with you, these are the things which the acharyas they share. Okay, and how do the acharyas share? They share by going through all the scriptures. They share by researching through all the scriptures and coming up with certain statements which indicate the nature of the Lord's pastimes, and then they resolve it, they reconcile it. So there is no, I mean, all these things they may not be directly stated in the scriptures, but they have some shastric reference, and you cannot contradict these things. If someone can contradict using scriptures, then obviously, I mean, there's no meaning of these pastimes. So our acharyas, they have done a tremendous contribution to understanding the nature of Krishna's pastimes, and that's why it is rightly said that you cannot understand scriptures unless you go through the eyes of the sadhus, the acharyas. It's not possible actually, because scriptures they are very complex in nature, and we cannot reconcile them unless until we have we are beyond the modes of material nature and we have a direct connection with the Lord. We are empowered by the Lord. We cannot understand and we cannot come to the conclusion of scriptures. So whatever is the highest contribution made, it is by the acharyas who are actually researching all the shastras, and then they are easily making available all these things to us. So these are the conclusion of the acharyas. So is this clear? Any question or comment? Okay, so similarly, we have a question that why the Vrajvasis, they don't leave Vrindavan and they don't go to Mathura and Dwarka. Is Vrindavan more important to them than Krishna? And this is the reason they are not leaving Vrindavan. If I mean, the entire purpose is basically to have attachment to Krishna, to intensify the love for Krishna. But here we see that the gopis, they are showing more attachment to Vrindavan, staying in Vrindavan, than to Krishna. So how do we reconcile this particular concept also?
So they are attached to giving pleasure to Krishna. So you already, I think you mentioned that. They want to have that, they want to do what Krishna enjoys. Or they want to like have that relationship, like that, mood of that mood of separation. They want to keep that active because they enjoy, because that is more relishable to them and to Krishna than meeting, than always being like intimately associated. So I think that's what I've heard about the gopis not wanting to leave, having the option but still never leaving Vrindavan.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And also
so
you also said, I think Mataji also just being that mood that they have, they don't want to. Yeah. You also mentioned this, Mataji is saying his mood is different, and for Krishna's sake they remain. Yeah, that's what I would also say, because that's what I've heard and makes sense also.
Yeah. Obviously, the mood is because there will be rasa bas and there will be conflict of rasas. Because as we discussed earlier, the mood of the Vrajvasis, it is purely madhurya ras, it is purely sweetness, and that's why they don't go outside of Vrindavan. And obviously, the reason for that is because they in Vrindavan, being in Vrindavan, they feel the presence of Krishna more deeply, and they can appreciate Krishna more deeply by being in Vrindavan than going outside of Vrindavan, even though Krishna is not present in Vrindavan. Okay, that's the main reason. Because things connected to Krishna, they are also very important. Like for example, in our Damodar Leela also we see yes, there are the acharyas, they say that why Yashoda Maya, she had to leave Krishna and she had to take care of the milk which was boiling, boiling over, right? Why was she concerned about the milk more than Krishna? But the acharyas say that things connected to Krishna are more important than Krishna, because it is meant for the service of Krishna, because it was meant for the pleasure of Krishna, and it is to intensify love for Krishna. So similarly, Vrindavan is completely non-different. That atmosphere is completely Madhurya atmosphere, and only in that atmosphere the Vrajvasis can actually very deeply connect with Krishna in his true form. Okay, so that's why they always remain in Vrindavan, because Vrindavan is the place which reminds them of Krishna the most. And that's why you will also see that when they went to Kurukshetra, still they were remembering Vrindavan, and they wanted to take Krishna back to Vrindavan. That's how the entire Rath Yatra pastime actually happens, because the mood is to take back Krishna from Dwarka to Vrindavan. So similarly, wherever, if Krishna is outside, they want to pull Krishna back to Vrindavan. And that's the full manifestation of the potency of Krishna in its Madhurya aspect. So that's why they always want to live in Vrindavan Dham. So this is the reason. So apparently it seems that they are giving more priority to Vrindavan. But again, that priority for Vrindavan is for the pleasure of Krishna. As I think Alisha Mata, okay, yeah. So Alisha Mata also said, and Aritra, you also said that for Krishna's sake, they remain in Vrindavan. Yeah, I mean, obviously there is the element of the desire, the will of the Lord, which prevails, because they are completely surrendered and they want Krishna's pleasure. Whatever Krishna decides, they will accept it. In fact, I think today morning only I heard a very wonderful definition of Vrajvasi. A Vrajvasi is one who is actually willing to accept any changes in the plan of the Lord. That is a Vrajvasi. So whatever Krishna decides, whenever, I mean, even if he wants to change something, if he decides something and later on he changes something, and that change, that mood of acceptance, that mood of surrender is actually the mood of a Vrajvasi. So the Vrajvasis, they are completely sold out to Krishna's will, and they will turn in different directions depending on the way Krishna will steer them. Okay, and they are completely sold out to Krishna. So for Krishna's sake, basically Krishna wants them to stay in Vrindavan. Okay, at the same time, I mean, there are multiple purposes why Krishna does like that. Okay, now we say that, okay, they want Krishna wanted to intensify their love, but at the same time we know that Krishna also does not leave Vrindavan. He is eternally present, and whenever the gopis, they are intensifying their love, Krishna appears there directly. Okay, so there is no question of Krishna's absence. There is a very tentative, temporary pastime where Krishna disappears for a moment and then again he appears. Ultimately, what happens is, in separation there is always union. I mean, there is no separation as such. There is no separation. I mean, the separation exists because it just wants to intensify the mood of somehow having union with the Lord, and the union again wants to somehow. So basically, it's a both things complement each other. You cannot have union without separation. You cannot have separation without union. Okay, and in union there is separation, and in separation there is union. These are all different dynamics of Krishna's pastimes. So basically, see, now if you remember, one of the reasons Krishna left Vrindavan, do you remember I had mentioned this reason in our, I think, Radhashtami class or maybe Janmashtami, but the internal reason why Krishna leaves Vrindavan. And then I gave the example of Krishna having pastime with Radharani in Prem Sarovar, how they are very close to each other, And in spite of that, when Radharani is hearing that Madhusudan has gone away, because Madhumangal is there, he's chasing the bee, and the bee goes away. So then Madhumangal starts loudly calling out that Madhu has gone away now. Somehow, he's gone away. So even though Radharani is right in the arms of Krishna, but because of her Prem Vaichitya Bhav, she gets so much absorbed in that hearing that Krishna, I mean, the Madhu has left. So she starts feeling that Krishna has left her forever and gone away. And because of that, she gets into ecstasy and tears starts continuously pouring down and it forms a lake, Prem Sarovar. And obviously, Krishna also, he also starts crying and tears are coming down. And then the mixture of Radharani and Krishna's tears, they form this Prem Sarovar lake. This is the pastime. But what happens? Krishna is basically concerned that if I remain here, if I remain in the association of the Vrajvasis, then they will feel more anxiety and distress because they will always have a concern that I will leave them at some point of time. So they are in more anxiety when he associates with them directly than when he's separated from them. Okay, that's why he separates. That's why he is living Vrindavan. Because again, so idea is that Krishna wants to, he's always thinking about his devotees, and devotees are thinking about Krishna's will. So both things work together. And that's why, because in order to mitigate and pacify the feelings of the Vrajvasis, Krishna actually leaves Vrindavan. Now, this is the internal reason. External reason is obviously yada yada dharmasya glani bhavati bharata. Right? And he also has to perform pastimes with his Dwarka and Mathura Vasis. So he will leave, like apparently. Yeah, I mean, so it's a combination of multiple elements in the pastimes of Krishna. So is this clear now?
Yes.
Now, see, one more thing I just want to clarify. You may be thinking that why I'm talking so much about the gopis. So basically, see, the our parampara, our sampradaya is Gaudiya Vaishnava sampradaya, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has promoted the mood of the gopis. He has emphasized the mood of the gopis, and the acharyas, they have commented elaborately on this mood. They have not spoken so much elaborately on the other rasas like Vatsalya Bhav or Sakhya Bhav and Dasya Bhav. Their main focus is on Madhurya Bhav, and that's why they are giving a lot of examples from the pastimes of Krishna with the gopis. So that's why I am just sharing some of them, and we can easily extrapolate these pastimes to other rasas also. So just like Aritra, you asked about the cows, whether the cows are expanding themselves in Dwarka and Mathura, and the same can be said about the Gopas also, whether they are also eternally present in Vrindavan, whether they also expand themselves in Mathura, Dwarka, and Vaikunta. So these things are possible. These are all like compatible to each other, kind of related to each other. So one may extrapolate these principles to other rasas also. And then one of the main reason is Madhurya Ras also has all these other four rasas, including, right? So when we discuss about Madhurya Ras, then obviously all these four things are also included. I mean, so in that sense also, they have placed more emphasis on the concepts of Madhurya Ras. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so I think we have covered all the points, and I don't remember if there is something else to be covered. So we can conclude our series on understanding of Tattva of Krishna's Lilas. This is the part 3 and the final part. Okay, any final question, comment?
Not from me. Swati Mataji,
Okay.
Alisha Mataji.
Swati Mataji.
She gave a comment. Amazing class. Will listen to all parts on YouTube, not
Yeah,
YouTube, Mataji. Facebook.
Thank you, Alisha Mataji. Yeah, it's on YouTube. Yeah, we have.
Oh, it's on
one
YouTube
part
too. Okay.
Uploaded. Yeah, in my, I have two channels. One is Prema Rāsa Dāsa and one is Pratik Desai. And the talk shows, they are all in Pratik Desai. And this all the devotional classes, they are all in Prema Rāsa Dāsa. Yeah, Swati Mataji, any question or comment?
Prabhuji, we were explaining about Govardhan in the spiritual world. You were explaining. So, do you have the reference? Like, where can we find it?
Yeah. See, if you hear, I think in my Radhashtami class or probably Janmashtami class, I did give reference of the Ras Mandap, which is appearing in the spiritual world. And anyways, but these references, they are all there in the Puranas, how they are appearing. In fact, Bhakti Purushottam Maharaj has written a book, two-part series of Glories of Srimati Radharani. And there you'll see all these references are given of the reference, the name of Radharani appearing in different scriptures and the pastimes which are happening. So these are all like, from, some of them are from Puranas, some of they're in the Rig Veda, and then some of them are in the Gautamiya Tantra. And different scriptures are there. So there are references. But if you want to know about Govardhan in specific way, then I think some devotees, they have written books on Parikrama of Govardhan and about Govardhan, and I think it is also there in Vrajmandal Parikrama books. So they have described the appearance of Govardhan in the spiritual world, and then they have also described the appearance of Govardhan in the material world. And they have provided the references in that. So, there are many references.
Thank you. It was amazing, like pastimes you explained. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. So, I mean, this is the purpose. Basically, if we can understand the Tattva, then we go back to Godhead. So that's what Krishna says. If someone can understand me in truth, then one will not return to this material world. Janma karma cha may vidyam evam yomiti takvada takva deham punarjanma naiti mamati. So Arjuna. So this is the Tattva actually that we are talking about. And if you understand these principles, then you will also be able to guess, and you will be able to speculate philosophically how Krishna's pastimes can unfold. It is not so difficult. Once you know these things, then you will be able to understand. Like for example, in the beginning, I had a question about the identity of Bhishma Dev. That who is Bhishma Dev? What is his relationship with Lord in the spiritual world? Because we hear that the pure devotees, they don't have any karma, but at the same time, it is mentioned that Bhishma Dev was a Vasu in the previous life, and he committed some aparad. He was cursed. He was cursed for some mistake, and then because of that, he had to take birth as Bhishma. And at the same time, you also know that from a devotional point of view, he is a eternal associate of the Lord. And same thing for the Pandavas, or same thing for Uddhav as such. And then Yashoda Maya, Nanda Yashoda, Devki Vasudev. But at the same time, you also know they have a past background, which is not spoken about in the realm of devotional service, because they are eternal associates. So how do we reconcile these things? And so the solution to these things are there in Sanatana Goswami's Brihad Bhagavatamrita. Now, interestingly, Prabhupada has given all these things in his books, but it's just a matter of time that you will be able to understand it. Or you may, because we are going through his books, but at a particular point of time, we may not pay attention and we may not understand it. Okay, that's why, and the only thing is that Prabhupada's, these kind of comments, they are disconnected. So the acharyas, they are explaining everything in a sequence. But Prabhupada has, what he has done, he has mixed everything. He has mixed philosophy, then detail, and he has explained the principles also. But it is in different places. Now, one consistent thing about Prabhupada is that he has, if you read Prabhupada books, you will understand that what he wants or what he has emphasized is that many people, they should become devotees. That's his first priority. And then other details, they are here and there. So you just have to assimilate all these things. Then you will be able to understand that Prabhupada has given all these principles. He has given many principles in Bhagavatam and many of them in Chaitanya Charitamrita. If you read them thoroughly or repeatedly, then you will be able to understand that, yeah, Prabhupada gave these things. So basically, it is explained by Sanatana Goswami that there is the eternal Bhishma Dev and there is the Vasu, the Jiva. And when the eternal associate come down from the spiritual world, the Jiva, they merge in the body of the eternal associate. And that's why it is said that it appears to us that Vasu is taking the role of Bhishma Dev. But the reality is Bhishma Dev and Vasu both are present in the same body. And when the pastime is over, Bhishma Dev goes back to the spiritual world and the Vasu goes back to the Swargaloka. And he resumes his responsibilities and duties. When he finishes, if he becomes a devotee, then he goes to the spiritual world. If he finishes his responsibilities, then again he'll come to the material world if he does not become a devotee. Right? So if you remember, that's why I've explained these concepts in the beginning of our lecture series, right at the beginning. That first understand the Tattva of the associates of the Lord along with the Tattva of Krishna. Then only you will be able to understand all these things. And that's how I have led up to the point where I have explained today the expansion of the gopis and different types of expansion and all that. Otherwise, you won't be able to understand. And if you remember, we also discussed about the 3 different types of the destination of demigods with respect to the way they want to worship the Lord, right? So one way is in the mood of the associates of the Lord, the following the mood of the footsteps of the associates. One is to basically merge in the original form of the associate because they are just the expansions of the associates. And the third one is to retain their identity as demigods and not to follow any associate. All right. So when you understand these things, then you get a clear picture. Right. So so all these things we have covered.
Prabhu, I have a question regarding this. Can I type it if you can't hear?
Yeah. Now it is clear. You can speak.
I wanted to know, like they say in Chaitanya Charitamrita that Ramananda Rai also has, he's like Vishaka Sakhi, if I'm not wrong, he's Vishaka Sakhi as well as someone from the Pandavas, right? Arjun.
Yeah.
So how can 2 exist simultaneously in one?
Yeah. I mean, this concept I have explained in the beginning of our series, and basically the point is that just like the Lord is unlimited, and by his potency, the associates of the Lord also become unlimited, and they can expand and they can also merge in one body. So we have different personalities in one body itself, and at the same time, a personality can also expand himself in different times and places. There is one letter where Prabhupada is addressing his disciple when he's asking a question about because there are millions of universes, and we know that when Krishna's pastimes happen in the material world, so then we know as Krishna has unlimited pastimes in unlimited universes, obviously there will be unlimited associates of the Lord, and these associates are more or less the same. I mean, it's not that you will see Krishna performing different pastimes in different universes with different associates. We have not heard like that. What we have heard from acharyas is that in each and every universe, the pastimes, the associates, they remain the same. There may be some slight detailed variation here and there, depending on the size of the universe and the number of heads of the of Brahma. So there will be more details in that particular universe, but overall the essence remains the same. So we see that there are pastimes of Krishna with the Pandavas, and then when we say that Pandavas are existing, we say that Arjuna is also there. So now, is all these multiple Arjunas the same or they are different? This was the question which was asked by the disciple, and Prabhupada responded by saying that this one soul, Arjun, is expanding in all these millions of universes. So they are also expanding unlimitedly, if you see, in all these multiple universes. And that's why all Krishna is expanding and all the associates are also expanding. Now this is possible because of the Lord's empowerment. The jiva cannot expand. In fact, a mystic yogi, he can only expand up to 16 forms, I think. This is mentioned somewhere in the Bhagavatam when there is an example of who was that? It was Saubhari Muni or Kardama Muni. In that particular context, I think it was Prabhupada who mentioned in the purport that normally only a person can only expand up to 16 forms. There's some limit using the mystic siddhis. But if Krishna empowers someone, then that devotee can expand unlimitedly. Okay, then there is no restriction for that. So yeah, so multiple personalities are present in the sense that they actually reveal certain portions of their personalities. Okay, now why it is said that Ramandara is a combination of Lalita, Vishaka, Pandav, Arjuna, Gopi, Arjun, Sakha, Arjun Sakha in Braj, Arjun Sakha in Dwarka, our the Pandava. So combination of all these personalities. Why? Because he is actually manifesting these different characteristics of these personalities. That's why he's identified as an incarnation of all these personalities. Haridas Thakur of Lord Brahma. Okay, and then we have Vasudev Dutt, incarnation of Prahlad Maharaj. And then obviously there are also Gopas who are like Kusmadit Gopa is combined with Prahlad Maharaj in the identity of Vasudev Dutt. And so that like that, different personalities are present. It is quite possible in the identity of Vakreshwar Pandit. I think he's identified with the incarnation of Pradyumna as well as Kandarpa Manjari. So now you see, it's not that only jivas are present, but in some cases, Vishnu Tattva as well as Jeev Tattva both are present in one body. That's the identity of Vakreshwar Pandit, because Pradyumna is actually the Vishnu Tattva, Vasudev Sankarshan Pradyumna Anirudh, and Kandarpa Manjari, she is a Jeev Tattva, or probably the Ladini potency of the Lord, the internal potency of the Lord, right? So you can have Shaktis and we have Shaktiman also, in the same body. So these are all possible in the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And that's why Mahaprabhu's pastimes are very unique, because all these personalities, they can taste Vraj Bhav. They can taste the mood of the gopis, which is not possible in Krishna's pastimes because they retain their individuality. Whereas in Gaur pastime, they all want to hanker. They are hankering for the mood of the gopis. They want to basically experience the bliss of worshipping Krishna in the wake of the gopis. So that's why all these personalities combine. And interestingly, it is also said that these personalities, they are eternal. And it's not that they are expansions of the forms of Vrindavan. They are eternally present in Navdeep Dham, because Mahaprabhu's form is eternal. So they are eternally present. They are not expansions of Vrindavan. But there is an analogy to the Vrajvasis. So just like we say that Mahaprabhu has the bhav of Radharani, so similarly, because all these, the entire goal is to somehow worship Krishna in Vrindavan. So when the associate they are in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Lila, they also kind of manifest and reveal identities of these Vrajvasis. But they are not expansions of these Vrajvasis. They are eternal associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It's a simultaneous thing. I mean, like for example, we say that Vishnu is manifesting from Krishna, is an expansion of Krishna. But we know that again, Vishnu is also an internal form of the Lord. Narsimha is also eternal form of the Lord. Ram is also eternal form. So where is the question of which form coming from which form? I mean, it does not make sense. So that's why it is said that basically why Krishna is supreme, because he is manifesting most opulences. Compared to any other form of the Lord, Krishna is demonstrating, is experiencing, is exhibiting more opulences than any other form of the Lord. That's why he is supreme. It's not because that he is the source, he is the avatari. Obviously, it is true, but even in the in the realm of opulence, Krishna's opulence is definitely much more greater than any other form of the Lord. So that's why we say that he is the supreme being. Otherwise, Brahma Samhita does give example of lightening the candles. Now, if you consider that example, all candles, they have the same potency. You cannot discriminate. Discrimination is only in the context of which is the first candle, which is lighting other candles. But here, although Krishna may be the first candle, but he's also displaying more opulence than other candles. So you can say that the other candles, they may be less brighter, but Krishna's candle is the most bright, like that. So is it clear? Yeah. So, I mean, devotees who have missed the first two classes, they can hear it on YouTube. I think you'll get much detailed understanding about this. Okay, so now this at least in the Kartik month, I want to do class every Saturday, except that if I go to some dham, then maybe it may not be possible for that particular weekend. But what I thought is that maybe I would like to have a class on Krishna's pastimes, and whether it is Damodar Leela or whether it is some other Leela, I don't know that, but maybe I will update you. But next Saturday also we'll have another class, yeah, hopefully all the 4 Saturdays we'll have. If you have any suggestions, then you can also share. So next class will be on 30th, and then we can have on 6th, and we can also have on 13th. I'm not sure about 13th one. I mean, I can try, but at least 30th and 6th we can have. So if possible, you can join. Okay, all right. So thank you all the devotees for joining. Hare Krishna, do not now.